Epic War 4 is a game. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Do you like my really funny, original, clever joke? My joke was so funny and quirky and cool. Holy crap. Hey, so I have not been uploading videos very regularly. I have been dealing with a lot of IRL stuff. As you can see, I'm no longer in my normal recording spot. I'm actually in a barracks room in Washington, just about 30 minutes south of Seattle. This is the Epic War 4 review. By far, probably one of the most anticipated review videos. I must do it justice, unlike the Epic War 3 review video. I did write a comprehensive list of things I wanted to talk about, but I'm not going to read off of any script. Personally, I actually think that it's easier to just talk and be stupid than it is to just read off the script, although writing the script is more my forte because I like to have my ideas kind of clearly put together in a sort of way. But the reason why I made the Epic War 3 review video the way it is because I wanted to make it as intuitive as possible for Lasbalin. I feel like Epic War 3 has a lot of potential, but the gameplay issues made it very difficult to enjoy as much as I feel like I could have enjoyed it. Epic War 4 is slightly different. Where Epic War 3 lacked in gameplay value, Epic War 4 has an abundance of. However, where Epic War 3 had great balancing, Epic War 4 lacks. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. A good portion of this video is probably going to revolve around that issue in Epic War 4. I tend to talk about it every time I bring up the game. So the way I'm going to structure this review video is going to be very similar to the Epic War 1 review video. Instead of listing 5 things, I'm going to list 3 things that I didn't like about the game, and then the 3 things that I did like about the game. Pretty simple. It'll be in a descending order, starting from the third worst and ending with my most extremely favorite. I'm going to give a rating to the gameplay, the balancing, and of course the aesthetics to this game, similar to Epic War 1 as well. But before I get into this, I did want to discuss something that I've been thinking a lot about, and it's a very simple question with a very complicated answer. What makes an Epic War game good? I mean, I guess you could come up with an easy answer like, oh, it's the game good, of course. Is it Epic War 1? Is it bad? Or is it like Epic War 4, which is great? What makes the game great, though? It's a question that I feel like is hard to explain, and I think that I've managed to figure it out. I think the thing that makes the Epic War games good simply comes down to how satisfying the game is to play. Well, okay, well, what makes the game satisfying? And I've managed to narrow it down to, is the game fun? Well, what makes the game fun? There's 3 things that make the Epic War games fun. Are they balanced? Are they immersive? And are they challenging? You see, immersion and challenge are 2 terms that go hand in hand. I can remember very, very distinctly one of my all-time favorite moments from recording any of the Epic War videos was whenever I was playing Epic War 2 and I got to level 7. It was the first level with the Revenge Wave. And I had no idea what a Revenge Wave was at the time, so when I was just cleaning the level, I mean, up until this point, I hadn't lost at all, and I had a pretty good grip on what the game was, so I was pretty confident. And then I heard the horn blare, and out poured dozens of paladins, angry, pissed off paladins, and they were on a tirade towards my castle, and I could do nothing but watch helplessly because I had not prepared for something like that. And it was in that moment, it was in that very moment, I feel like I truly, genuinely enjoyed the game. And it was in that moment where I was frustrated. I was kind of defeated almost in a way because I had the long-standing meme of, I'm so good at Epic War games, I just naturally have talent, and then I just get absolutely slaughtered. Right? But the only thing I could think about coming out of that level was, oh god, I'm gonna beat that level. I'm gonna beat that fucking level. You know, and that's all I could really think about. And I was so immersed into the game at that point that literally the little things didn't matter. All that mattered was winning. And that, I feel like, is what makes the game fun. And I think that's what makes the game satisfying as a whole. And it's definitely like the culmination of a bunch of small things, but whether or not a game is immersive or challenging, and they do play hand in hand. If the game is easy, it's not immersive. It is so hard to get into something when it's easy, and that's definitely going to be a huge theme in this review, because Epic War 4 starts out as a challenging game and quickly devolves into the easiest, most mind-numbing experience imaginable, and the immersion is just completely taken away. Every time there is a complaint to be made about Epic War, it is an automatic separation from the immersion. For example, something stupid happens and you say, "Oh, this game is stupid. Like, why is that happening?" The moment that happens, it stops becoming an experience and it starts becoming a video game. And that's a problem, because the whole point of these strategy-based games is for you to just really be able to sit down, bury your elbows into the sand, and get ready for an epic war. I mean, isn't that, in my opinion, that's what the games should be at their core, is just a thrill-filled experience, you know? And, some games do it better than others. I think, funny enough, Epic War 1 really did that the best. Epic War 1 is challenging. It actually is. If you just run into Epic War 1, gung-ho, playing through each and every level, just you kind of disregard the mana upgrades and you just upgrade units instead, you're going to hit a brick wall. And I like that. I like that about Epic War 1. Epic War 2, very similar. But I think Epic War 2, once you got like the elves and the orcs, those factions had units that made it extremely easy. I would say extremely easy. I mean, the bosses in Epic War 2 were actually pretty fun. The frog, the end, and the Lord of Hell. Those are challenging, I mean, the frog wasn't challenging, but the end was. And the end in Epic War 2 was so much better than Epic War 1. And Epic War 1's the end is the epitome of too challenging. It's so challenging that it breaks the immersion, because it goes from being fun challenging to what the fuck challenging, Epic War 3, the first playthrough was actually quite enjoyable. Whenever I picked my first hero, I don't even remember which hero I picked. I think it was the dude, his name's not Trevor, but it sounds like Trevor. I think I picked him. That first playthrough of the map it's just an absolute blast. The music is hype, the art was clean, everything was great. The issue with Epic War 3 is that it's like silly putty in that it's so short-lived. There's no content in Epic War 3, it's just play through these levels, and that's basically it. There's Cave of Trials, and Cave of Trials is actually pretty good too, I'll give them that. But like, the whole content of the game was supposed to revolve around beating it with every single hero, getting all the units, and then going into the caves. I feel like that was how you were supposed to play the game, and it just didn't work. It was too repetitive, and that's a good example of how the gameplay can be the greatest detriment to what makes a game fun as well. So I feel like going into Epic War 4, the expectations are really high for this game. I mean, Epic War 3 was a great game. I'm not going to say that it was bad, but there was a lot that could be improved upon. And Epic War 4 took it upon itself to improve upon it, and in many ways, it succeeded. So I guess, I'll just start this review off with my third least favorite part of this, and that's gotta be my unit AI. If you've played Epic War 4, you know what I'm talking about. You want your units to stay underneath your castle, and they don't. They just refuse. Every time a goblin runs up to the castle, your entire army just chases after it, and they don't come back. They just run forward. If you're like, I'm gonna put my units under my castle, I'm gonna go get a drink real quick, you come back, your units are at the enemy castle getting slaughtered. It's kind of annoying. And by kinda, I mean very. I just wish that, like, units can run up and attack an enemy, that's fine. I just wish they would run back afterwards. But they just keep running forward, and they don't stop. And it's really chaotic, and it breaks that immersion, because my units aren't doing what I want them to do. And in a strategy-based game, your units listening to you is kind of important, So, yeah, that's def a big uh-oh in my eyes. And hopefully, I know that, like, Unit AI, Zerny's mod proved that Unit AI is something that is not terribly difficult to manipulate. I don't know, I'm not a programmer. Zerny made it look easy, though. But yeah, I think that the Unit AI just needs an overhaul in general, just in terms of how the units react. Epic War 5 did it perfect. I loved Epic War 5. You could literally have a unit like 2 feet in front of your units, and your units would just stand there and stare at it, and goddamn, I loved that. Whenever in Epic War 5, when I saw my units just standing there not attacking anything, I didn't get mad at the game for shitty mechanics. I would get mad at myself because I wasn't maneuvering them good enough. I recognized it as a skill issue, not a game issue. I know Scorpion's gonna love me talking about skill issue in a review video, but yeah. Well, let's segue that into my third favorite thing, and that has got to be 100% the value of heroes. So Epic War 3 had a hero unit, and it was good for like the first 3 levels, and then after that it was kind of like, this unit's kind of just here to exist now, you know? But in Epic War 4, they put an emphasis on valuable heroes. Now each hero controls 2 units in your composition. And if that hero dies, those 2 units cannot spawn anymore until the hero respawns. I thought that was genius. That is literally genius, the way that is set up. I honestly, if I was put in charge of making Epic War 4 after Epic War 3 was released, I don't think I would have been smart enough to come up with this idea. Like, it is absolutely brilliant. And it makes having your heroes and using your heroes feel really good. Unfortunately, as with pretty much every Epic War game, as the late game comes around, I feel like personally the best strategy is to just keep your heroes in the back and never use them. Epic War 5 definitely is a victim of this, and Epic War 4 to an extent as well. Of course, not really, because something else in Epic War 4 makes it unnecessary to play with any strategy at all, but we'll get there. My second worst thing in this game, the thing that really irks me, really grinds my gears, and that is the absolute deterioration of the gameplay value, going from normal mode into hard mode, and then from hard mode into epic mode. You would think that hard mode would be a better experience than normal mode, but it really wasn't. Hard mode wasn't bad. There was certain levels, like level 9 Shooting Star, where it introduced the bane of my existence, Blue Archer. Shooting Star, the shooting part was right, but it was actually my brains I wanted to shoot out, not a star. That level was horrible. Not balanced at all, because Blue Archers are crazy. Turns out I needed the good old Stabosaurus to get through that level. But hard mode was, overall, it felt like it was there, it was coming along. I just think it needed a lot more care and effort put into it. I can tell that as the development of Epic War 4 went along, the production team definitely cut a lot of corners to get the product finished. They probably had a deadline or something. Fortunately, the great part about Lasbone's remaster is he's not running on a deadline, so he really can take as much time as he wants to add whatever he wants. And then Epic War 4 transitions into epic mode, which should be epic, but it's not epic. And I made a lot of videos about how it's not epic. I mean, like, I played through it normally using a certain OP strategy, and it was so underwhelming that I went back and played through it again using no spells at all, and it was still unbelievably easy. I was so disappointed in how easy it was. I'd like to reference Zerny's mod as a great example of what epic mode should be. Just absolutely, like, off the wall bonkers. Like, the game should, in epic mode, the game should literally just be like, this is what I came up with in a fever dream, and now you have to deal with it. That's kind of what Zerny's mod devolved into. But, like, it was fun in Zerny's mod. Like, especially, like, and this goes back to that whole challenge equals immersion. Like, the Golden Angel level in Zerny's mod was so unbelievably difficult, but it was also really fun. I mean, eventually it got to a point where it wasn't fun because it was too difficult. Kind of refer back to Epic War 1's the end boss, but, like Zerny's mod Golden Angel level, where you actually have to kill the Golden Angel. Basically, you can kill the castle without killing the Golden Angel, but it's better to just kill the Golden Angel. Like, that's fun. That's really fun. And it's hard, and it's challenging, and and that level in particular is what I feel like Epic War 4 Epic Mode should be. That's the capabilities. Epic War 4 is one of those games with a lot of untapped potential, you know, and Zerny's mod made a great example of what it looks like when you unleash some of that potential. He's working on his 3.0 mod, and from what I know, it's gonna be like an incredible experience, you know. And this is all coming from the source material of Epic War 4. I think that just goes to show how much potential this game truly has to just be amazing. So let's talk about my second favorite thing in this game, and that has definitely got to be the game's design. Chef's kiss on whoever drew the Epic War 4 map. It looks amazing. The Epic War 4 is so bright and colorful and welcoming and inviting, and it is just in such stark contrast to Epic Wars 1 and 2, games that were very dark and gritty, and then Epic War 3 and 4 just had these bright, vibrant maps. Well, I mean, Epic War 3 is over the map, the actual map. Epic War 3 looks like a pile of dog shit. It does. The Epic War 3 levels looked pretty good, but Epic War 4 really just took them and expanded them to the next level. Epic War 4 maps, my favorite Epic War 4 map is gotta be whenever you play in the forest area of the map and you've got like those huge trees, and then it's like there's that spot in the middle of the map where you can kind of like see the light coming through, like, oh, it just looks so beautiful. And, you know, I recently played Epic War 6, and I think one of the biggest reasons why Epic War 6 isn't that great of a game is because it just doesn't have that factor to it, that artistic factor. Epic War 6 is so dark. It kind of reminds me of Epic War 1, but it's even darker than Epic War 1, that it's almost hard to distinguish certain things from other things. But Epic War 4 was just so bright and vibrant, and oh my god, I gotta stop for a moment, dude. Epic War 4 just makes my art boner and pleasing. And another thing, it's not just the level design, it's the unit design. I don't know how they managed to make it to where every single unit in Epic War 4 felt like it belonged. I don't know how the hell you get a Yeti and a Valkyrie warrior, and you put them next to each other, and then you put them next to a giant tank on wheels, right? And you can have these three units standing next to each other, and they feel like they belong there. They don't feel like they were pulled from different worlds and placed into the same map. They look like they all exist in this world somewhere. And it's like the moment, like, I could show you a dark outline of every single unit in the game, and just by looking at the dark outline, you would instantly be able to tell what unit it is. Even though there's like, what, 25 units, 5 heroes and like 5 titans or something, like there's a bunch of units, but they each have their own unique shape, their own unique design. Every time you see the unit, you immediately know what it's capable of just because you know the unit, because you recognize the unit. And that is definitely a huge part of the appeal, is that artistic value just adds so much to that immersion factor as well. I think that's the main reason why I judge balancing gameplay and aesthetics, because those three things all turn into that immersion, and that immersion, as well as challenge, turn into make the game fun, which makes the game ultimately satisfying. And oh my god, Epic War 4 is just such a pretty game. It really is, and it would be my favorite part of this game if there wasn't something that's even better than it. And there is something in this game better than the art style, in my honest opinion. Something that's even more impressive than the beautiful art. And we'll get there, but first, we have to get to the part of this game that absolutely shatters it and ruins it and makes it a terrible game. Let's talk about balancing and the importance balancing has to a strategy-based game. Fun fact, it has everything to do with the strategy-based game. If you've ever played Clash of Clans, you'll have a better idea of visualizing this. If you haven't, I'll try to paint the picture for you. You attack another person's base. You have to place down units. Your units are going to get attacked by the enemy's defenses. You have to place your units strategically so that they don't all die. If they die, you don't get all of the stars. You don't get all of the loot. You know, you want to take as much of the enemy's base as you can. So what would happen if you were to play Clash of Clans, however, you get to constantly place down heal spells that all stack on top of each other and make it to where your units just can't die? Tell me then what the point would be of playing the game if it's so easy that you can literally just mindlessly place units anywhere, just spam nothing but heal spells. You never have to stop, and nothing happens. You just win every time with no challenge whatsoever. You would imagine it defeats the entire idea of a strategy-based game. You've taken the strategy out of the strategy game. It completely defeats the purpose. Balancing is so important. And unfortunately, Epic War 4 drops the ball. It drops the ball. Epic War 4 was really like holding out this platter with like the most delicious meal imaginable, like the most amazing red velvet cake or the most amazing like steamed lobster, and it was reaching out to hand it to me, and I was there like licking my lips, like about to take this delicious meal and enjoy it. And right as I put my hand on the plate, it just reaches out and kneed me in the balls as hard as it possibly could. And I instantly fell collapsed in agony, and it ran off laughing at me. That's what I feel like Epic War 4 did. And obviously you know what I'm talking about. It's the goddamn spells. In particular, the utility spells. 3 culprits are at large right now, and they are currently wanted convicts. They have $100,000 bounties on their head, and they're wanted. Their names are the Rage spell, the Shield spell, and the Time Stop spell. Yes, if you see these spells, don't be afraid to shoot on sight. They are armed and dangerous. They are currently wanted for destroying a good game. These spells completely fucking destroyed Epic War 4. The entirety of the game is just devalued to almost nothing. Epic War 1 is more fun late game than Epic War 4. Epic War 1 is more balanced than Epic War 4. Everything. Freaking. The United States Navy is more balanced than Epic War 4. And I cannot for the life of me excuse this game for making such a catastrophic blunder. I cannot for the life of me justify how the fuck the developers allowed the spells to be this unbelievably broken. It's a fun fact. You need mana to cast a spell. Mana generates on its own. Sure, you can have like up to 200 mana. The spells, the Rage spell, the Shield spell, and the Time Stop spell, they cost X amount of mana to cast. And at level 5, they last for like 20 seconds. 20 seconds of invincibility, 20 seconds of making the enemy units stop. And it is such that in the time it takes for the spell to run out, you will have generated enough mana naturally to cast it again. So you quite literally can either A, make yourself immortal forever, B, make the enemy units stop forever, and also C, make all of your units deal double damage forever. So one would ask, well, what's the point of even thinking about anything at that point? You can crush any level, regardless of the level, by just time stopping and using your Rage damage up spell. And that's you're literally just gonna walk through every level and beat it. So where is the fun? Where's the immersion? Where's the challenge? It's not there. It's not there. It's just not there, and it's so disappointing because it's something that is so easy to catch. And I feel like had even one person play tested Epic War 4 before they released the game, they would have said, "Hey, Art Logic Games, what the fuck?" And that's the part that I just cannot forgive Epic War 4 for, is that the developers should have seen it. It's like, I'm gonna put up a video of what the Epic War 4 developers were doing when it came to balancing the spells. What you're watching right now is the Epic War 4 developers releasing the game, not pretending not to know that the spells are stupidly overpowered. And oh my god, I played through the game on Epic difficulty without any spells, and it was still kind of easy because Epic mode is just bad. But I actually kind of enjoyed it anyway because I actually had to, at the very bare minimum, think, I was able to kind of immerse myself. But Epic mode is just bad. I don't know. But yeah. I'm gonna give the balancing of Epic War 4 a 0 out of 10. And it's really weird that I'm giving it a 0 out of 10 right now because my number one favorite best part of this game is actually the unit balancing. Unit balancing gets a 10 out of 10. The actual game's balancing gets a 0 out of 10. So that's enough shitting on the game, I guess, for now. Let's talk about my favorite part of Epic War 4. It is the balancing of the units. I don't know how, but they managed to make almost every unit equally viable. Almost. There are some outliers that are on the shittier end of the spectrum, like the Bomber Rats and the Dwarven Engineers. They are just not good units, but you've got like, let me double check real quick. How many units? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Well, 16 normal units, 20 if you count the Titans. 16 units, and every one of them has value in their own regard. It is remarkable. I don't know how you've managed to make it so, like, good. Epic War 3 had poorly balanced units for the most part. I blame that on units costing mana. I blame that for why the units suck. Epic War 4 made it to where units don't cost mana. You can just use whatever combination of 6 units you want. And it made it to where any of the 16 available normal units are good in their own way. Like, you can use each of them, with the exception of the Bomber Rat and Dwarven Engineers. I don't know why you would use either of those unless you're using OP spells. And you can use them, and it feels good to use them. Like, I thought it was amazing. I never personally really used Phantom Armors or the Yetis, but I've been told that they are also good. Like, they kind of compete with the other units that are similar to them. Phantom Armors would be comparable to the Taurus Oxen unit. They're both pretty decent. Like, late game, they're probably not as good as, like, Tiger Warrior or Orangutan spam, but, like, they're good. Like, I don't think Phantom Armor is inherently better than Taurus Oxen. I don't think Taurus Oxen is inherently better than Phantom Armor, but I do think that they're both good units, and that's incredible. That is just absolutely splendid. And, like, Epic War 4 has the same issue as the other Epic War games, where the ranged units are always going to be better than the melee units, but not by much. Like, I don't know, it's just chef's kiss to the unit balancing. I felt so good using units that I like, and units that I like and are also good. I mean, of course, you have the iconic Tiger Warrior unit, the Beaver Warrior, just an all-around fantastic unit in design, as well as how practical it is to use. But it's so well balanced. He's fast. He has a huge sword. He does this massive attack with so much damage, but he gets shot by like 3 arrows and dies. It's so intuitive, you know? He's such a glass cannon, but man, is he such a fun cannon to shoot. He's like a little confetti cannon. Like, you shoot the confetti and you're like awed by it, you know? Like, it's so beautiful. Or you could, if you're not feeling the glass cannon, you could use the Mighty Guardian unit, which is just this dude on a horse. He's stupid slow, but mans can take a beating, you know? And you could even go slower with the Untamed Beast, the Yeti unit, which, you know, Yetis are never going to be the best unit in the game, and they never got no love in none of the Epic War games, but they've got so much health, and they can eat damage. It is so good. You know, like, it feels good, and I feel like there is good synergy to be made. Like, do I want to use the fast melee units? Does that kind of work well with my composition? You know, if I do use the fast melee units, which units should I pair them with? Like, for example, one of the best combinations I found was actually the orangutans, the monkeys, and the yetis. I don't know why, but the yetis and the orangutans are so good, because you have to get close to the yetis to attack them. The yetis can just kind of make up a bit of a defense, and the monkeys sit behind them, and you have to walk up and kill the yetis. The yetis are tanky, and the monkeys do so much damage once they stack up. Like, I think it was level 10 on hard mode did it really well with the Yeti orangutan combo. I don't know if it was level 8 or level 10. 8 mountain, I think it was level 8. It's so fucking cool how you can, like, make combos and units help other units be better or stronger. And there are units that are better. The Titan units, the Titan units are The Sky Dragon and the Great Diablos are not as good as Inferno and the Celestial Angel. Diablos is great for level 9 Shooting Star on hard, because he just ignores range damage, but, like, comparatively, compared to how good and the Inferno is and the Celestial Angel, they both can do a wide barrage of damage in a short amount of time, whereas Diablos and the Sky Dragon are a lot more slow. Sky Dragon is just slow, and he doesn't take a beating as well as I feel like he should. He does a lot of damage, sure, but like it doesn't feel as satisfying as Inferno, who can just spin around and obliterate everything, and he just eats damage, you know? Like, I don't know. And then you have the heroes. I already talked about the heroes earlier, but like just the unit balancing just feels so damn good. And I feel like if once you balance the spells, baseline Epic War 4, vanilla Epic War 4 will be just the most fantastic experience, especially if you make epic mode actually epic. My god, this game has so much potential in it to just be fantastic. You know, you've got a game that looks beautiful. You've got a game that already has a unit system that is extremely nice. It is just that the shortcomings of Epic War really fuck this game up. So with that in mind, I'm going to give the gameplay aspect of Epic War 4 a 5. Gameplay aspect of 5 because it starts to fall off about halfway through, so I think it makes sense to give it only half of its potential score. And for the aesthetics, 8 out of 10, because the story could be better. The art is fantastic. I don't know why Epic War 4 doesn't have a better story. Epic War 4's story is dog shit, and it totally could have a better story. Epic War 4 could have a story on par with Epic War 2's story, in terms of how much story it could put out, because you could put a story before each level, right? So, and you could even put a story after each level in the review tab, so you could really tell a beautiful story in Epic War 4, so yeah, I think that is holding it back aesthetic-wise. And honestly, man, I think that about wraps it up for Epic War 4. Ultimately, the things that I wanted to talk about for this game are a lot easier to talk about than things from the other game. I mean, like, I know my Epic War 1 review was just me talking about, like, you gotta get into the mindset of the Epic War universe. It's all about the dark, gritty unpleasantness that actually makes it its best feature. Epic War 4, it's not that complicated. It's a beautiful game. It's fun to enjoy. But the shortcomings are obvious and clear. And the things that can be done to better them are also pretty obvious and clear. Epic War 4 has such a large amount of potential, but has also its limitations that we currently have. Zerny's mod is a great example of what the game could be, but Zerny's mod is also a great example of the caution one must tread upon when making difficult levels. You don't want to accidentally have every level in Epic mode be the end from Epic War 1, you know? So yeah, honestly, that's it. That's the Epic War 4 review. You get a total score of fucking 18 plus 5 is 23 out of 30. No, wait. No, it's 13 out of 30, because I gave balancing a 0. Balancing deserves a 0. It does. No excuse for the bad spells. 13 out of 30, it's a lower score than Epic War 1 got. Rest in peace, Epic War 4. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. And I'll see all of you in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.